About 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day, Katie Greifeld and Bailey Lipschultz in for Romaine Bostic. And here to help take us through the closing bell, it's a global simulcast. We're joined now by Massar and Tim Stenovec. We bring together all of our various audiences in doing so. And Carol, it looks like on the S&P 500, we're going to end the day pretty dang close to session lows as investors really take stock of just how far apart the U.S. and Iran are right now.
Yeah, investors keep hoping, right? Some kind of resolution, steps towards a ceasefire. But you look at the headlines that we saw, some back and forth, but it doesn't seem like that's coming anytime soon. I'm looking at the S&P 500, guys, just hovering above that oversold level if you like technicals and you watch RSI. But we just continue to kind of bounce around it.
I'm looking at oil and price for Brent at $108 a barrel, up today, Bailey, by more than 5.5%. WTI up by 4%. Sort of the back and forth with at least what traders are thinking when it comes to ending this conflict. Look no further than what oil prices are doing for how they're thinking about the timetable of this.
And it's really causing a knock-on effect, and that's one of the things we've been talking about with our guests is at what point does oil breaking higher, maybe towards 120 on Brent? How does that impact the ultimate consumer and kind of the entire supply chain the longer this drags on, Katie?
And how does that impact, the price of everything else? When you think about the bond market in particular, we were having the conversation with Venu Krishna that if you get the 10-year Treasury yield close to 5%, that's when things really could get hairy. Of course, we're not there yet, but we know where the direction of travel has been when it comes to yields. But let's take stock of where we are when it comes to the equity markets at the closing bell. The S&P 500 going to finish the day about 1.7% lower, of course, wiping out that really small weekly gain we had been working on. NASDAQ down about 2.4%. We know it's an ugly day for a lot of the tech names. The Dow Jones lower by about 1%. I guess that's your outperformer on the day, but can't read too much into that, Carol.
Oh, hating on the Dow again. All right, I know. Let's go back to the S&P 500. Most names in the index actually lower today, Bailey, about 316 to the downside, 186 to the upside. We've got, looks like, one unchanged here.
Yeah, if you want to look at your outperformers on a rough day, look no further than energy and some of those safety plays, utilities and real estate falling behind. Real estate, we'll call it unchanged, but it's flashing green on my screen. Standing opposite, a deep sell-off, communication services, tech, industrials, and consumer discretionary. Again, really heavily weighted by Amazon. So for the most part, your Mag 7 dragging down this benchmark.
All right, guys, let's get to some of the individual gainers, if I may, in the Thursday session. So let's get to it. Brown-Forman, definitely some outperformance there. Bottoms up, everybody. 9.6% to the upside. Pernod Ricard. I think I'm saying it.
Nice.
Close.
Sounded good to me.
Yeah, all right, thanks. Thanks, guys. Exploring a potential acquisition of Brown-Forman, the owner of Jack Daniel's whiskey, as alcoholic drink companies look for ways to consolidate amid an industry downturn. Deliberations are ongoing. No certainty that they will result in a deal, but nonetheless, investors certainly got keen on that one. Hey, let's go on over to some of the car rental companies. Tim and I were just talking about it on our end. You saw Hertz Global up about 9.5%, about 9.2%. To the upside. Avis Budget, a gain of about 13% in today's session. And this is what's happening. Travelers across the country looking at those lines, being on those lines, are looking for different options. And so they are seeing maybe that they rent a car rather than fly somewhere. Traffic to Hertz Global, their website jumped about 15% this week as customers look for ways around the congestion at U.S. airports. The company's been promoting discounts on last-minute reservations and one-way rentals. So we did definitely see Hertz up today. We also saw Avis as well, up almost 13%. I got to tell you, Avis is up close to, I think, 50% in the month of March, putting it on track for its best month since October of 2022. So quite a run there. And one more for you. This was courtesy of my co-host, Tim Stenovec. I don't know if he uses it, but Olaplex Holdings.
Wow.
I do not.
There you go.
I do wash my hair.
That's awesome.
We're so happy about that.
That's great.
Soaring on a percentage basis. Keep in mind, it's about a $2 stock, $2.01, up 51% today. Henkel agreeing to buy Olaplex Holdings, the hair care brand that developed a cult following its shampoos and other treatments. It's
Yeah.
a $1.4 billion deal. Henkel's going to pay about $206 a share for Olaplex, according to a statement today that confirmed our reporting. Do you like it? I used to use
It was hot for a while.
Yeah, I don't use it anymore.
Then I feel like there were some nasty reports about it, but I thought the whole thing was that it would like glue together your split ends.
Well, it's based in Santa Barbara. That's all Bailey and I need to know
California.
about.
I
We're
did
both
like it
Californians,
for a
so
while.
I like the
Yeah.
color, the golden oil. Anyway,
Some reports about hair
I think we were supposed to move on now to
All right,
some of
go
the
ahead.
decliners.
I
Let's
know
do
you just
that and-
added
and
one, so
pull up the board and see where we're starting.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. SanDisk fell by 11% today.
Four names?
I added one at the end.
Well,
As
Tim,
you
I
were
feel like
talking, I
normally you
added one.
complain about how there's nothing to choose from. Today, it was like the entire market for you.
an embarrassment. of
It's true.
business.
It's true. I'm very lucky that we have such a great team in the control room that can.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. So SanDisk fell today by more than 11%. This after, well, Google publicized research on a new algorithm that could allow more efficient use of storage needed for AI development. So we saw a handful of names move lower on this news. Snap shares also under pressure today. The EU investigating Snap's social network to examine how it verifies users' ages and tackles grooming and criminal activities that target underage users. Snap shares finishing just off their lows, but still down 10.7%. And here's a really interesting one. This is Miller Knoll, the maker and designer of office furniture, fell today by 22%.
Look at that line.
I know, all day. Well, it reported earnings late yesterday, or I think it was late yesterday, if I'm correct. The company expects about a 125 basis point hit to growth related to the conflict in the Middle East, lost volume, as well as higher transportation costs from the increase in oil prices. William Blair analysts say that's expected to weigh on EPS during the fourth quarter by about 10 cents. Look at this hit, down 22.4% today. Also, finally, because there was so much lower today, we do have to give a shout out to the Mag 7 stocks that ended up falling today, which was all 7 of them, except for Apple, which was barely higher by 0.1%. Meta Platforms fell by 8% just a day after that ruling, or the jury,
Right.
what the jury found in California. And then NVIDIA was down more than 4%, Tesla down more than 3.6%, Katie.
I don't know if that's a shout out or it's a pour one out, because that's another ugly line there. Let's talk about the bond market. Another sell-off, this time in fixed income. And you can see really it was across the curve. The 2-year yield in particular higher by about 11 basis points. We did get another auction today, this time of 7-year notes. That also didn't exactly get a warm reception. So that's 3 auctions this week, 2s, 5s, and 7s that tailed. So certainly weak demand there. So this sell-off, I mean, it's cross-asset. The only thing that really rose was oil, which has been the dynamic for a while now.
All right, so let's get to some stories that definitely caught our attention. We have one about Netflix, what they're doing. Haven't seen this in about a year, but they're raising subscription prices by as much as $2 a month. Standard streaming with ads up about $1 to $8.99 per month. That's the first time, Tim, in just a year. Standard plan without ads rose by $2, and then you like to live with a premium plan, don't you?
That's the one where you can watch multiple things at once, right?
Yeah. Isn't that your world?
Why would you want that?
I think some people, what they do is they I've heard they have different family members in different places that use.
A source familiar, but not.
Although Netflix has really cracked down on
Or
this.
so you hear?
Netflix has really cracked down on this.
Yeah.
Premium plan climbing $2 to $26.99.
Oof.
Adding to inflation, that's all I'm going to say. I'm paying more at the pump, and now I'm going to have my brother pay more on Netflix.
Or whoever's Netflix you're using is
Exactly.
going to have to pay more.
Yeah, my family
really.
members. I pay for Apple Music, so that's all I bring to the table.
I think
There you go.
I think they cited continuing investment, but didn't they just get like $2.8 billion in a breakup fee?
Yeah, but they are spending a lot of money on content.
Yeah. Before we go, I do want to quickly bring our attention to another story on the Bloomberg terminal today, getting a lot of eyeballs, and that is crypto is entering the mortgage market via basically crypto-backed mortgages. Better Home and Finance Corporation and Coinbase are launching a product that links digital assets to down payments on Fannie Mae eligible home loans. I'm really curious what the uptake looks like here.
You can pledge your Bitcoin as collateral to buy a house at the market peak. I don't see anything that can go wrong, guys. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
So you don't.
Could possibly, right?
It's just so you don't have to sell your crypto if you want to hodl that crypto, Bailey, forever. Total.
It's an appreciating asset, is what I mean.
So they don't sell it right away?
No, you pledge it. Borrowers pledge Bitcoin and USDC stablecoin as collateral for a separate loan used to fund the down payment rather than selling those assets to raise cash.
What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, but hey, we like disruption and innovation, so we'll keep an eye on that one. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Our cross-platform radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals. We call it The Closing Bell. Bailey and Katie continuing there on The Close on Bloomberg Television. Tim and I continuing right here on Bloomberg Business Week Daily.